Hello? Hello? Please turn on your cameras and your mics. Good morning, class.
Good morning.
Welcome to another day in this miserable game we call life.
But today isn't miserable. I mean, maybe for you, you had to log on today. But for me, I'm actually happy to be teaching.
Why?
Because I love learning and teaching about the Holocaust. The Holocaust was monumental in showing the strength of the human spirit.
And the value of spiritual resistance, which brings me to my next point. Today's topic.
Spiritual
resistance.
Ugh, the dreaded slideshow.
Spiritual resistance.
We're talking about the strength of their spirits. We're talking about how they were able to stay human.
We're talking about staying alive, staying alive. You know you can laugh at my jokes, right?
I'm funny.
Are you?
Since you didn't even give me a courtesy laugh.
I bet that all that time you were wondering why I was singing.
Well, I'm glad you wondered. We're not just talking about any spiritual resistance. We're talking about spiritual resistance in music. But first,
Let's go over spiritual resistance.
anyone?
Well, the reading last night told us that spiritual resistance refers to attempts by individuals to maintain their humanity, personal integrity, dignity, and sense of civilization in the face of Nazi attempts to dehumanize and degrade them.
Yes, exactly. In fact, I have this quote right here.
Augusta?
Give me some examples.
Well, there's the act of not letting go of your religion and continuing to practice it. Oh, and yesterday we learned about the existence of underground libraries and ghettos with thousands of books, manuscripts, and even diaries. The reading also talked about secret prayer groups and ceremonies. And music too, I guess.
Precisely. And in line with yesterday, we're going to stick with learning about ghettos. Now, it should be noted that just because we're focusing on the ghettos
Doesn't mean that the music of the Holocaust stayed in ghettos or were even only created in ghettos.
In fact, tomorrow we're learning about music in concentration camps. But for now, focusing on ghettos. To the music.
Beyonce?
Kendrick Lamar?
Spiritual resistance in the form of music as it takes place today. Beyonce and Kendrick Lamar are famous for their pushing of issues that surround Black people and the Black Lives Matter movement.
They use their music as a means to not only spread the word, but to get through the hard times. They vent out their frustrations, and despite America's efforts to
keep them down and dehumanize Black people, they can find a place to let it all out and be human. Music.
I guess they did make freedom together.
So the way they use music is similar to the way in the Holocaust?
Yup. Now,
keep this in mind as we go farther back into this.
Spiritual resistance. Now, listen to the song. If you've been following along with the slides on your computer, you can click the link and see the lyrics and an article. You get 15 minutes to read the article, and then we'll have a discussion afterwards. Now go and read.
Alrighty, class.
It's time to talk. What you just heard was a song roughly translated as Never Say That You Are Walking the Final Road. It was written by Hirsch Glick in 1943.
He wrote the lyrics in the Vilna ghetto, and it became popular among the partisans. That's why it's often called the Jewish partisan song. Now,
look at the questions on the board. What do y'all think? What is one lyric that stuck with you and why? What does that say about the Jewish people? And what function does this music serve? Does it do anything? What value does it have?
Well, a quote that stuck out to me was, quote, "The morning sun will tinge our today with gold, and yesterday will vanish with the enemy," unquote. I guess it means that there's going to be tomorrow and there won't have to be suffering at the hands of their enemies anymore. They can overcome the Nazis. This line sounds really hopeful for a better tomorrow. I guess that's all we can say. Their song seems to give them hope and a source of light in the dark times that they were in. No wonder it, quote, "spread with remarkable rapidity," unquote. It was a useful spiritual shield.
Yeah, I found it interesting that this specific song traveled around ghettos as well. And this tells me that they needed encouragement. But not only that, if I'm answering question number 2, then a function of the music was personal expression. This was a capital way to get our emotions by writing them down and even singing them.
And to add on to that, it gave them power. After all, the Jews were in charge of this resistance.
They used to sing these songs in the streets and had concerts.
And with minimal resistance from the Germans.
Nowadays, we use this song to commemorate the Holocaust anniversaries and to celebrate the strength of the human spirit.
So then, what can we learn from this?
Well, just like we saw with Kendrick Lamar and Beyonce, the power of music is strong and it helps people get through oppression. It can be a beacon of hope and optimism. Even in the ghettos, the Jewish people didn't lose hope.
Yup, and it helped them stay,
Stay
alive, stay alive,
stay alive.
Hey, I didn't tell you to leave. I didn't dismiss you.
You're dismissed.